Okay, well, yeah, while I was in the process of uploading this video that I had recorded earlier, apparently there have been some recent developments in what's going on in Damascus. So the Syrian rebels have toppled the Assad regime in Damascus tonight or today. I don't know what time it is over there, but apparently they have taken over Damascus. Damascus has fallen. A few days ago, they had already looted Assad's palace in Aleppo. They had just ransacked his palace, and so just today they have they raided Damascus. They seized Damascus, knocked down statues, and just pretty much ran Assad out of Damascus. And so they're saying now that since Damascus has been seized and Assad's regime has been overthrown, he attempted to flee the country. He attempted to flee Syria, but they think now that his plane has either been shot down or it has crashed. And I believe him and his family was aboard this is either a plane or a helicopter, and they said that they have lost um, air traffic control. It has disappeared off the radar, so they're believing now that that plane has went down. Um, So it hasn't been confirmed yet, but they're saying that they believe that Assad and his family may have died in a plane crash or that plane was shot down while trying to flee Syria. But yeah, Damascus has fallen, um, and this fulfills the prophecy of Isaiah 17 in the Bible. Like I said, you go back and read it. Uh, Prophecy is being fulfilled every day. And I felt like I said, I felt like that was a harbinger when that little small town of Damascus in North Carolina was destroyed during Hurricane Helene. And I said, no, this is a harbinger. And I knew that the destruction of Damascus was going to come soon and fulfill that prophecy in the Bible for some reason. I said, this is a that I believe that what happened in with Hurricane Helene was a foretelling, and I did post that on my Facebook a couple of months ago during when Helene happened. I said this is a harbinger and a foretelling of what's about to happen to Damascus over in the Middle East. So, and it Damascus has fallen, prophecy fulfilled. There's no other book in the world and the history of human civilization that has ever been as accurate and on point and factual and truthful as the Holy Bible because it is the Word of God. I don't care what these people out here are saying. Oh, the Bible was written and it was tampered with and it ain't the whole Bible and it is this or that and all that. There's no other book ever written that is as accurate and on point as the Holy Bible. So, all right. Also, oh man, I didn't know this that the situation unfortunately with the lady who fell into the sinkhole looking for her cat. Um, they were able to recover her body. She was a 64-year-old lady. Let me see, what's her name? Nicole. She was a grandmother, 64-year-old grandmother, and they did find her body. They found her body. So how long were they searching for her? They found her yesterday. The body of her missing grandmother was swallowed by a sinkhole. Let's see. Elizabeth Pollard. That was her name. Elizabeth Pollard. We're here to talk about and she fell. The missing person that we once had, Elizabeth Pollard. She fell into an abandoned coal mine following a days-long search. They found her about 10 o'clock a.m. Westmoreland County Coroner Tim Carson confirmed to ABC News her body will be transferred to their facility for an autopsy to determine the cause and manner of death. I wonder, did they find the cat? Uh, it says that the evacuation began Tuesday in Unity Township, about 40 miles southeast of Pittsburgh, after Pollitt was reported missing by a family member she had not been heard of. She had not been heard from after going out to search for her cat. Sinkholes is believed to have formed while Pollitt was walking in the area looking for her cat and is tied to a mine. So she was walking in the area looking for her cat and is tied to a mine. And she was located approximately 12 feet from the sinkhole's original location. So she probably was trying to fight her way out. And the more she fought, she probably sank deeper and deeper, because they said that when you struggle to try to get up out of a hole, just like in quicksand, that the more you try to struggle, you just fall deeper and deeper down into the hole. She probably suffocated down there. When Pollitt fell, she struck the mound and rolled slid to her final position, making it difficult for search teams to locate her initially. So did they find the cat? That stupid cat probably wasn't even down in there. Well, no, they said that she was walking and she fell. The dangerous search effort shifted to a recovery mission on Wednesday, when authorities surmised that it was unlikely that Pollitt would still be alive based on the conditions underground, including oxygen levels. Search efforts had also not found any sign of life. They said it would be a miracle to find her alive at that point. Mm. You know what? She may not have seen the sinkhole. She may have just accidentally just fell into it. But if she was trying to go into that hole to find that cat would have just been down there. Because there ain't no way I would. It says she was last seen Monday evening, a couple of hours after she was reported missing. Her vehicle was located shortly before 3 a.m. Tuesday with her 5-year-old granddaughter safe inside. Her grandbaby was inside. 3 o'clock, and she was just waiting for her grandmama. That little baby probably was crying, wondering what the heck happened. While searching for Pollitt in the area, troopers found an apparent sinkhole with an opening about the size of a manhole 15 to 20 feet away from the vehicle. Oh, wow. Oh, man. Searching for a stupid cat. How did the cat even get out? I would have just let that cat go. See, this what I mean. That's what I mean. These people and these animals. Crews stopped assessing the mine on Wednesday due to the danger of collapse, which the search effort shifted to cameras. So they sent a camera in there to find her. They made the search for Pollard. The Mountie told reporters Thursday that they have not found her cat. They don't even, that damn cat probably wasn't even in the hole. Pollard's family also has not seen the cat. That cat probably was not in there. Cat probably was in heat or something and ran off somewhere. The area where the sinkhole formed has a very thin layer of earth and appears to have deteriorated for a long time. Oh, people down here should not be afraid to walk around in their yards. The mine last operated in 1952. According to the state's Department of Environmental Protection, the depth of the coal seam in this area is approximately 20 feet. Once the scene is clear, the department will investigate the site to determine if the issue is the result of historic mine subsidence. Oh my God, looking for a cat. This poor lady lost her life. Now, this reminds me of there was another story about another lady way over in Malaysia. She was a tourist from India walking in Malaysia, and she was just walking down the street, and the video shows she's just walking down the street, and the earth just opened up. She fell into a sinkhole, and unfortunately, they couldn't find her body. They couldn't recover her body, so she had fell just that deep down into this hole. And they said that the reason why that sinkhole formed is because of the massive rain and flooding that Malaysia had, been just engulfed with over the past few months, because Asia has been getting tore up. All those Asian countries, India and the Philippines and all those places have been getting really bombarded, and a lot of the African countries too, by floods. And so that's what they said caused this lady. She was 48 years old, and she was an Indian tourist. She was married, and she was a Hindu woman. And they were, people were holding all kind of Hindu rituals and praying to their Hindu gods, hoping that her body would be found. And of course, that didn't happen. But yeah, so they were praying Hindu prayers and stuff, because they couldn't find her. Her family couldn't find her body, so they prayed some type of Hindu ritual prayer over the sinkhole, and they got some dirt from the sinkhole, and I guess that's how they're gonna conduct her memorial service. But this is so sad to let you know how fleeting life is in this world. You can be here 1 minute and gone the next. This woman probably never thought in a million years, just walking down the street, she would fall into a sinkhole and die, and her body never recovered to even give her a decent funeral, burial service. But they found the grandmother in Pennsylvania, and so her family can have the closure, and just probably give her a decent burial. But this is so sad that this woman died looking for a cat. You could, I'm sorry, I wouldn't have. I don't understand why people would risk their lives trying to save an animal. That cat would have just had to been gone. Whether it ran away or what, I wouldn't have went risking my life searching for a cat. It's sad and unfortunate, but it happens. But anyway, back to what I was saying about the Damascus prophecy. It has been fulfilled. The Bible said that it was going to happen, and this Assad person, um, who was he was a dictator pretty much, and he was overthrown because I watched a documentary about him earlier to get an understanding of who he is and how he ran the country of Syria. And he was just obviously a very wicked, evil dictator who had a lot of blood on his hands. And the people in Syria, they pretty much live like in a third world country. A lot of them are just subsisting. They live in it was a man, that was a family with 12 children living in a tent and living off bread and water, while this man had like opulent palaces in he had a palace, I think, in the capital of Damascus, and then he had one in Aleppo. But they pretty much raided his palaces and ran him out of the country. But how he reigned, well, it was because he had the protection of Russia and I believe Iran. Syria, was being protected by Russia and Iran. That's how he reigned for so long. But they said this man's father ruled Syria before he did, and he just took over. And he's been in power 24 years. But they said his family has been in control of Syria for about 53 years. So how they ruled that long is because they were protected by Russia and Iran. But because Russia is involved in their own war with Ukraine, and Iran is involved in their own war with Israel, they couldn't help Syria when those rebels rushed in and overthrew Assad. So they think he's dead. They think that he is, yeah, that him and his family have died in a plane crash or either was shot down, trying to flee Syria to escape the rebels. So yeah, so that's what's happening. What else was I about to say? Oh, Israel has raided Syria now. I guess they're going to help out the rebels. Israel is has they've raided Syria. So, hmm, well, Syria will probably be no more. So we're just gonna wait and see what regime takes over after. the collapse of the Assad regime, but this wicked dictator is no more. Um, like I said, God only lets you get by for so long doing wickedness and oppressing people, oppressing the people and everything. Even though this is a majority Islamic um, country, there were Christians there and they were being persecuted in Syria. So they were also an enemy of Israel. So Damascus has fallen per Isaiah 17, just as the Bible said. All right, y'all. Peace. I'm gone. I'm out of here. Man, man, oh man, oh man. Well, good evening, everybody. It is December 7th, Saturday, in my neck of the woods. The weather is holding up pretty decent. We haven't, well, we got some snow for Thanksgiving, and it stuck for a day or two, and then it melted. But for the most part, we haven't really been hit pretty hard so far. But they're saying that we might get some snow next week. But I hope you all have been doing well since the last time we talked yesterday. So let's go. Let's get into the news. Let's get into the news. There's a lot of interesting stuff happening. Um, where are we gonna start? Where are we gonna begin? So this thing with United Healthcare is weird. This guy ran up on the CEO of United Healthcare, and he just pretty much killed him while he was on his way to a conference. And he's still at large. They don't know where he is. They haven't found him. And so I think they got a reward out for him right now. I believe they do. Um, but I'm thinking that what happened with this situation is that because they said he wrote on the bullet, um, they wrote on his bullets that the shell casings that used to kill this man, um, this was definitely something that this individual he planned, plotted, and strategized this murder with this man. And he went to the top of United Healthcare and killed the CEO. So this suspect either knew this man or he had some type of vendetta with United Healthcare because just it seems like he planned this very well because he didn't even use a car because the weather I mean I'm sorry the traffic in New York is real heavy, and so he knew that if he used a car he would get stuck in traffic and possibly apprehended right on the scene before he could get away. So he planned this this was a thought out, he plotted this murder. Um, but what he doesn't realize is that New York is one of those cities where they got video. I mean, there's businesses all over the place with cameras and videos that film the streets and stuff because of it's so heavy, it's so crime ridden in New York, in downtown New York. Yeah, they got cameras all over the place. So they got a still image or several still images of this individual. So it's only a matter of time before he gets caught. They don't think he's still in New York. But he planned this out because they said he got away after he killed the man. He got away on an electronic on an e-bike. So it was definitely premeditated. And I'm thinking that he killed this man. What is this man's name? His name was Brian Thompson. And yeah, it says there are many people on social media remark on the individual's apparent physical resemblance to the actor. Who cares about that? But anyway, they said they found a bag. He was stupid enough to leave a backpack in Central Park near a merry-go-round. I guess it was too much weight on the e-bike that he got away with. Uh, but I'm thinking this person, either United Healthcare, he had either it's either himself or a loved one who may have been sick, and United Healthcare may have refused to pay for the medical treatment or prescriptions for this individual, or denied the claim for like surgery or something, and so he sought the CEO out and murdered him because of that. So, or either it might be just a personal situation. Maybe he just knew this guy personally and had a vendetta against him and went and killed him. But it was he killed him. The CEO was on a way to an investors meeting at for United Healthcare, and they said he discarded a water bottle and a cell phone. Why would you leave evidence at the crime scene? That is just stupid. Some of these people, why would you go so far as to plan this hit? You marking the bullets, and you use. They said he used like a silencer gun. They said they think he had a silencer on the gun. And you get away on an e-bike. You made sure you didn't have a car so you couldn't get stuck in traffic. They said he rode away on an e-bike, and then he a few blocks down he hailed a cab, and he got into a cab and he escaped. So why would he leave discarded items and backpacks and stuff like that in Central Park? And that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So yeah, they're gonna get the DNA off of the water bottle and the cell phone, possibly if he was sweating or anything. They're gonna get his DNA on off of all that stuff he left behind. So these people don't be thinking stuff through. You're gonna commit crimes, you're dumb but you're stupid. You're stupid but you're dumb. They're gonna get him. They're gonna get him. You killed a man, who was the CEO of the largest healthcare or health insurance company in the world, in the country. They saying they think he hopped a Greyhound bus. The man suspected of shooting Brian Thompson arrived in New York City 2 weeks ago via a Greyhound bus from Atlanta. Oh, they know who you are. It's only a matter of time. So they said they know that his bus originated from Atlanta, but they don't know if he boarded from Atlanta. But this is either a client who, whose claim was denied, or whose loved one's claim was denied for some type of medical treatment or surgical procedure or prescription medications, and he was mad about that, and he went and killed the CEO, or either he had a personal vendetta against this man for some reason. There's something going on because he planned this out, and I don't know if New York has a death penalty, but he definitely premeditated this. So, and they got a reward, and they got him. So it's only a matter of time before this guy's he's caught. He's just as good as caught. He's not going to even be able to. I doubt if he's able to even escape to leave the country. He's going to be caught. They know who he is. So if they know he boarded that Greyhound, then they know who he is. Unless he may have used some sort of fake ID or something, which I doubt. If he's leaving cell phones and water bottles and backpacks somewhere, then I doubt if he was as sophisticated enough to board the Greyhound with a fake ID. So he probably boarded it with his real ID, and that's how they probably know who he is. So that's ridiculous. That's crazy. But you know what? With United Healthcare, and if this CEO did die because this man had a vendetta against the company itself because of them denying claims or refusing to pay for um, claims that him or his loved one may have submitted, then that should make United Healthcare think about how they're constantly denying people's claims. These people pay good money for these policies, only to have their claims denied for the medical treatments that they need or the medical care, the health care that they need. And then they turn around after they've paid into these policies, and then United Healthcare denies it because United Healthcare is trying to save money. So you're costing people's lives just so that your company can turn a profit and save money, and this guy may have unfortunately paid for that with his life. So let's talk about this demon who killed these babies at the school in California. It was a Seventh Day Adventist uh, Christian school, and this evil individual, they said he had mental health issues. He's a 56-year-old man, and he decided he's going to go and shoot up this school, and he killed two kindergartners, little boys, two little little boys. They were in the kindergarten, and this, I don't care if they talking about he did have mental health issues. Um, he was cognizant and sane enough to plan to go up to a school and kill two kids. So, mental health might, nah, ain't no. He knew what he was doing. Let me see what. Let me see. California school shooting. He was cognizant enough to know that he was gonna go and shoot this school up. So don't give me, don't tell me nothing about no mental health. This demon knew what he was doing when he went up there and shot them babies. But luckily, the kids are in. They're in. Not luckily, but luckily, it was a blessing that he didn't kill these little boys. Um, they're in critical. The news said they're in critical and stable condition, and they're going to require a lot of surgeries. So this is in Northern California, Oroville. Said the babies were playing on the playground. They were at recess when this person opened fire on the kids on the playground, and he ended up shooting Roman Mendez. He was 6. He is 6. And Elias Wolford, he's 5. He shot these two little baby boys while they were at recess at school. And says little Roman was shot twice and had internal injuries. And Elias was shot once in the abdomen. And they're still being treated for their gunshot wounds and will need several surgeries. So this coward, he did this, committed this crime. He shot up this a playground full of kids, and then turned around and like a coward and went and killed himself. His name is Glenn Litton, Litton, Laton or Glenn Litton. So he called the school, which is affiliated with the Seventh Day Adventist Church, several days ago using an alias and set up an appointment with the principal. So he knew what he was doing. And they talking about he was had a history of mental illness, had decades of criminal history, and some clues into his motive behind the incident. Yeah, they said that he had an extensive criminal history dating back to the 80s. He called the school to set up an appointment with the principal under an alias a few days before he committed these shootings. Says Litton claimed that he was looking to enroll a grandchild at the school. The shooter, who was homeless, had no grandchildren, according to Honea. It appears to us that the story was a ruse so he could set up an appointment so he could have access to the campus. Yeah, he wanted to get into the school so he could shoot the school up. This evil individual. And I keep telling y'all about a lot of these times, a lot of these things. What it is that these people don't have nothing to lose. They said this idiot was homeless and he had an extensive criminal history. So he had nothing to live for. And this is why he did what he did. So it appears to us that the story was a ruse so he could set up an appointment so he could have access to the campus. After the meeting ended, the shooter walked to the playground of the school. He did go to the appointment. He walked to the playground of the school, brandished a handgun, and opened fire, and took his own life after he did what he did. Oof. The suspect had a long criminal history with arrests dating back to when he was a child, according to local investigators and the FBI. He spent several stints in state and federal prison for various crimes, including forgery. In the last year, the shooter had been charged with new counts in both California and Arizona. In March, he was accused of stealing cash from a CVS in Phoenix, where he worked a few days. Last month, the shooter was released from a San Bernardino County jail after he was arrested for stealing a U-Haul. He pleaded not guilty, was released on his own recognizance, and was picked up by a relative. And I remember they said that he was released from jail. Yeah, it said the shooter lived in motels in Chico and Sacramento in the 2 weeks before he took a bus and an Uber to the school. He even took an Uber to the school, a bus and an Uber. The shooter attended a Seventh day Adventist school in Paradise, California many years ago and had a relative who attended the targeted school many years ago, investigators said. However, the investigators said that there's no connection between the school and the suspect. The shooter did look up another Seventh day Adventist school in the area and had suspicious notes that mentioned the church. So he had a vendetta against the Seventh day Adventist church because he was on it. They seen that he was searching for Seventh day Adventist churches and schools on his computer. Investigators said they uncovered writings of the shooter that made unverified claims the school was linked with matters concerning the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. Yeah, he was nuts, but he was cognizant enough that he could plan this out to go and shoot the school up. And there's no indication that his claims were true. No, he was nuts. He was crazy, and he had nothing to live for. He has significant mental health issues and pulled information from various sources, and it all pulled together to form a reality that is false. Investigators said that as a convicted felon, the shooter could not legally have a firearm. Of course he couldn't. It doesn't matter. They do. Will they not? Will it not get through to their stupid skulls that a convicted felon probably can get a firearm easier than a person without a criminal record? They're not going to do anything to be able to stop black market arms trades and arms dealing on the streets. So the shooter could not legally have a firearm, and it appeared the weapon used in the shooting was a ghost gun. He bought a ghost gun on the black market. And investigators are still looking for clues and are in contact with the suspect's sister, but noted that he did not have close relations with his family. No, he didn't. He didn't have anything to live for. Since the school who teaches kindergarten to 8th grade has a total of 35 students, remains closed, and counselors have been made available to the students and the staff. I know those kids are traumatized. They got to be. They have to go through something like that. And if I was a parent, I would not send my children to school again. That's why I said that if I had any school-aged children or grandchildren, they would not be going to any type of schools whatsoever. I would homeschool my kids. I just would have to bite the bullet and homeschool my children or grandchildren if I had school age kids in this day and age. It's too dangerous to send kids to school nowadays. It's too dangerous to send kids to daycare. So this is just the way of the world, though. It's just the way of the world. This is the end time tragedies that we have to deal with every day in this society, in this country, in this world. So luckily, the baby survived. Hopefully, they'll pull through and make it. But if I was those kids' parents, those 35 children that go to that school, if I were their parents, I would take my kids out of public school because it's just unsafe now for kids nowadays. It really is. And this coward, I'm not God. Um, and as far as with mental illness, like I said, I'm not God. I can't judge this man, but obviously he may have had mental illness, but he was cognizant enough that he could set up a fake appointment in order to gain access to this school, to these children, so that he could go and do what he did. Also, he was searching for a church or a school that he could do this to, so he could shoot it up. He wanted to shoot up a church or a school because obviously he had experience with the Seventh Day Adventist religion. That they said he went to a Seventh Day Adventist school and he probably went to a church as well, and he has something against that particular church and that particular religion from past experiences. And but still, don't give me that mental illness crap. He was a career criminal. He didn't have any family. He was homeless. He just didn't have anything to live for. So, and they said that he had been released from jail 2 weeks before he did this. So had they kept him locked up, then this could have been prevented. But they let him right back out despite his extensive criminal history. And I thought California had the three strikes rule that if you get convicted, of three felonies, that, that was, you get a life sentence or something. I don't know how that works in California, but seems like this individual should have never been let. And they gave him a signature bond too. With this extensive criminal history that he had, they gave him a signature bond. Oh, ugh. But no, he wasn't mentally ill. He he planned, plotted, and strategized, you know, to do this. And like a coward, he killed himself. So he's dead, but he will get dealt with. You know, um, you can't play crazy when you you called an Uber to go and shoot up a school. You can't play crazy. You knew what you were doing. So, and that's why he killed himself, because he knew that he'd probably get the death penalty for what he did, given his criminal history, and then the fact that he strategically planned to go and do this crime. He would more than likely be facing the death penalty had he not took his own self out. So, like I said, I'm glad the little boys are doing okay. They're not doing okay, but I'm glad they didn't die. And I hope they get better. Godspeed in their recovery. It's going to be a long road to recovery, but Godspeed. I hope, they get better soon. Pray for them and their families. So, what else is going on? Bishop T.D. Jakes, he made a video, and I don't know what to think of this whole situation with him. Um, he made a video, he live streamed to address his congregation, and, just told them that he saw Jesus and he had emergency surgery, and the doctors told him to take it easy, and, he's going to be okay and all this good stuff. But I'm just wondering what's going on. What is the real story behind all of this? Um, there's something going on with this situation that I think it'll be exposed. Whatever, either way it goes, it's going to be exposed. But I'm just not buying all of this for some reason. Or either, like I said, his health has deteriorated under the weight of all of this. If he's being falsely accused of engaging in, certain unethical or possibly illegal behaviors, and it's not true, then his health is being affected, his mental and physical health is being affected because of this. Or either he is, he has been engaging in some unethical and illegal behavior, and the first thing that a guilty person will do is do the Harvey Weinstein thing and fake feeble and sickly, because they know that charges and accusations are coming down the pipeline, or lawsuits are coming down the pipeline. So I don't know what's going on with this situation, but yeah, only God will expose it, because if you got people that's leading tens of thousands of people in a huge congregation the size of T.D. Jakes' Potter's House down in Dallas, Texas. You got a lot of people and millions of people all over the world that watch you, in the media, and you are a false prophet misleading these people. Then God's going to deal with you, and He's going to expose you. And but if this man is being falsely accused and lied on for money, um, and sometimes the devil will send people, and no, sometimes the devil will just, yeah, raise up people to lie on you and set you up and frame you to shut down your ministry, because you are helping millions of people come to Christ. because you are saving souls and glorifying God's kingdom through your massive ministry. So the devil will send witches and warlocks to you to shut you down or try to shut you down. So I don't know, what's going on with TD Jakes, but all I can say is that his ministry over the years has helped a lot of people, millions of people all over the world get delivered, and has helped a lot of people who were going through very traumatizing situations in their lives. And his ministry helped those people to live through those experiences. So I know that the Lord used Bishop Jakes, for his purpose. The only thing that I see, the issue that I had with Bishop Jakes was that when people like Oprah and Tyler Perry and all of them start, coming to his congregation and things like that, and all that little fake performance that him and Tyler Perry did, where Tyler Perry laying hands on him and all that stuff, and him shaking, and I just couldn't get with all that Hollywood stuff. And I just felt like Pastor Jakes' message began to get watered down, and he was slowly, gradually moving from being a preacher of the Bible and Christianity to being a mainstream Hollywood motivational speaker. So, and I think that he was being too friendly with the world, in my opinion. So, as pastors, you can't shut everybody off and be a Christian snob, but you also got to tread a fine line between how you associate with people, because you can't be too close with the world. And I think that's where Bishop Jakes was kind of, you know, he was walking on a fine line. So, either way it goes, if, he's really sick, you know, um, I really do pray that God, heals him. And even if he fell into whatever, which I don't know. Like I said, it could be that Bishop Jakes is being framed and set up for money. Opportunists will come out of the woodwork. You wouldn't believe how people will lie and cheat and steal for money because the love of money is the root of all evil. And so I'm not gonna say that bishop that the bishop is guilty. I'm not gonna say that. So because we don't know, but so we wish Bishop Jakes Godspeed in his recovery. We hope that he gets better either way. But let's talk about this opening of this reopening of this cathedral, the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. A lot of the world leaders attended this ceremony of the reopening of the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. But notable absences were President Joe Biden and Pope Francis. And I do remember a few months ago that Pope Francis declined an invitation to attend the ceremony because he took offense to the mockery and the blasphemy of the blasphemous opening ceremonies of the Olympics that was held in Paris this past summer, where they had the drag queens um, mocking the Last Supper during the opening ceremony of the Olympics. Well, Pope Francis was highly offended, and I remember reading an article or looking at a news clip online where it said that he was not going to attend the reopening of the Notre Dame Cathedral because of that. But for some reason, Joe Biden didn't attend the ceremony either, and he sent the First Lady, instead of, him being in attendance. But all of the world leaders, um, they all attended. It was Prince William, who is the future king. He will be the future king of England because his father, King Charles, is currently sick with cancer, and so they probably don't expect him to be here too much longer. So Prince William did attend this ceremony. Elon Musk, who they call the shadow president, he attended the ceremony. Um, Donald Trump hasn't even been inaugurated yet, and he's acting like he's the president right now, and act like he can't wait until January 20th. He's just kind of pushing Joe Biden out of the way and assuming presidential duties right now. He's so power hungry and want to be a dictator so bad that he's, pushing Joe Biden on out the way before he's even inaugurated in January 20th. So he attended the ceremony, pretending like he's the president right now. Um, who else? Of course, the French President Macron, he was there. Zelensky showed up. I don't know why I don't know why Zelensky's even bothering because once Trump takes office, it's over. Ukraine is going to fall into the hands of Russia. So Zelensky making an appearance there for whatever reason. I guess he's trying to curry favor. It's not going to work. They're going to give Ukraine to Russia. So, but he was there. Um, and a bunch of celebrity actors and actresses and stuff like that. They were all attending the ceremony. But I'm thinking that, it took them $900 million to rebuild this cathedral, this Catholic cathedral that was destroyed by fire in 2019. And this was like a day or two before I had a dream or some type of dream or some type of vision or something where I figured out that Mystery Babylon that was mentioned in Revelations was Vatican City. And I just looked up and I asked God, I said, is that right? Is Vatican City Mystery Babylon? And like a day or two after that, that church burned up. And I'm like, oh, wow. That was the confirmation. I'm like, wow. I think that's confirmation. But it just so happened it burned up when I got that. I don't know if it was a vision, it was a dream, or something just came to me and said, Vatican City is Mystery Babylon. And that church caught on fire. And like I said, it cost them nearly $1 billion and 5.5 years to restore that cathedral. But the way Paris has been blaspheming God and cutting up, remember this past summer, God sent a massive flood to France, and then they had a massive blackout, and then they've had all these riots and civil unrest and stuff going on over there. And I'm thinking that whenever they get through, God can destroy that cathedral. He can tear that mug right back down. All them idols, and if you see the opening, I put the video up here of the ceremony, and it just reminded me of a scene. It seems like Eyes Wide Shut. That's what it reminded me of. Eyes Wide Shut with that creepy organ music playing and all those people walking that red carpet. All those world leaders and those celebrities and stuff walking that it reminded me of Eyes Wide Shut. And and I'm just thinking, y'all spent all that money and all that time rebuilding that thing, and God will strike it right back down with all them idols and all that expensive artwork and all of that stuff in there. He'll 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 destroy it again. But anyway, yeah, hmm, we'll see what the Bible said. The Bible said that God will tear down all them idols. He'll destroy all their idols, and that place, those Catholic cathedrals, the Sistine Chapel, Vatican City is full of idols. That's all the Catholic Church does is bow down and pray to idols. So we'll see how that goes. Speaking of Elon Musk, him and Vivek Ramaswamy, they visited Capitol Hill to discuss this whole Doge committee that they are heading that was formed to trim government spending. And they met on Capitol Hill with Congress, and Elon Musk brought his son with him, had him on, on his shoulders, walking through Capitol Hill with his son. And it just made me think how this man wants to rule the world. He wants to control the world. And he's going to cut a lot of social programs. Um, he's going to eliminate some federal departments, all because he wants the government to fund his space exploration projects. He wants Uncle Sam to pay for him playing in outer space, him trying to build robots and things like that. He wants the government to fund all of his projects to colonize Mars, to fly rockets, play with rockets in outer space. He wants taxpayer money to be able to do that. And so that's why all of you people that voted for Trump, all of you MAGA people and all of you folks, just get ready because they're going to cut a lot of funding to Social Security, Medicare, veterans benefits, food stamp benefits. So if you got family members that's living or surviving off any form of government assistance, you can thank yourself for them getting those funds cut, for them trimming the budgets off of those safety net programs, those social programs that so many poor people in this country rely on for their basic needs. So if your grandmama, your grandpapa, your mama, your father, whatever, is living off Social Security and Medicare, Medicaid, then you just voted, to their detriment. So everybody that's supporting this whole MAGA movement and these right wing people, um, I just hope. Well, I don't just hope, but I just believe that God will put you in a position to where you will suffer the consequences of your decisions to get behind something like this. You're gonna pay for it. So anyway, yeah, they met on Capitol Hill. And also, do you know how connected these people are? Vivek Ramaswamy is actually J.D. Vance, the vice president elect's best friend. They went to Yale together. So that's why he's in the position that he's in because he's best friends with the vice president elect J.D. Vance. They were so close, are so close, that J.D. Vance and his wife named one of their sons Vivek after him. That's how close they are. So this is why I'm telling you, all these good old boys are being put in these positions to help Trump run this government. So yeah, Elon Musk, he's sticking to Trump like glue because he helped pay for Trump's reelection campaign. So that's why him and Trump are like that. J.D. Vance and Vivek Ramaswamy, they're like that because they were best friends. They went to school. Um, they went to Yale together, and they're best friends. So it's all just a good old boy network. Um, and you notice that too. All of their wives are foreign. They are so hell bent on mass deportation and this migrant crisis, but they're all married to foreign women. Donald Trump is married to a foreign woman. Vivek Ramaswamy, he's a child of immigrants. He happened to be born over here in the States, but his parents are immigrants. They're Indian. Um, JD Vance's wife is an immigrant. She's Indian. I think she was born over in the States, but yes, she still has an Indian Hindu background. And you notice they all have Hindu backgrounds. Vivek Ramaswamy is Hindu. Kamala was raised Hindu. Uh, Vance's wife was raised Hindu, is Hindu. All of them have Hindu backgrounds. What's up with that? Makes me think about the false Hindu deity. Which one? The destroyer of worlds. Which one? I think it's a woman, false god, Hindu deity, Kali. I think destroyer of worlds, or was it Shiva? Some one of them false gods of Hinduism. But if you notice, there's a connection. How this is connecting with these people? It's just wicked. It is extremely wicked. But Also, with Elon Musk, I'm beginning to understand now why he thinks the way he thinks and why he's such a sadistic person. I was watching a video on YouTube about a man who followed him for like 2 or 3 years, and he just talked about the childhood that Elon Musk had to endure under a very psychologically abusive father. His father was just really not a good person, toward his son, and seemed like he just was emotionally unavailable, and he just seems like he's closer to his mother than he is his father. And they said he was heavily bullied and beaten in school to the point that he was hospitalized at one time. So Elon Musk has probably suffered so much trauma during his childhood and growing up that is made him just kind of numb. And it's like a revenge of the nerds on America type thing because he's had to go through so much abuse, and he's just, getting back at people, or he's I don't know. It's just it has created a monster with the way he was treated, as a child by his father, and just, the way he was bullied as a child growing up, in school and stuff. It did something to him. And that's the reason why he's such a sadistic boss. And it just seems like he's a very cold hearted, callous person. But they said he's not like that with his children. So, hmm, he's able to compartmentalize. And, but yeah. That's really weird. I mean, that's unfortunate. But Elon Musk, just because he's the richest man in the world, don't mean he's the most evil person in the world. Because Solomon was the richest man in the world too, and Solomon, he was led astray for a minute, and he was lost for a long time, and he went off and he did all kind of stuff, but he was the richest, wisest man to ever live. But he still belonged to God, and later on in his life, Solomon wrote the book of Ecclesiastes, where he said that, he, let his money and his women and power and all of that stuff cause him to stray away from the faith. And, he had to, God had to pull him back. So, yeah, Solomon was the richest man in the world long before Elon Musk became the richest man in the world. And Solomon, the wisest man in the world, he was not perfect. And he did some things too, but when you belong to God, he pull you right back in. So, and that's how Solomon wrote the book of Ecclesiastes, to let you know, do not put your faith and trust into worldly riches, because it's not guaranteed. You could be the richest person in the world. You could be Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs had all the money in the world, but he couldn't do nothing to cure himself of that cancer that killed him. There was nothing he could do. He could not buy not a moment more, a moment extra, one more moment of life with all the money that he had. So, you know, the money will fail you eventually. Money will fail you eventually. Everybody, I don't care who you are, how much money you got, there's going to be a point in time in your life where your money is not going to be able to do you no good. And that's during times of sickness or during times of death, whether it's your death or the death of a loved one. All the money in the world is not going to be able to save you from that or prevent you from suffering that pain. So, yeah, enough of him. Let's see, what else shall we go to? Um, we talked about the cathedral, United Healthcare, Notre Dame reopening. Oh, yeah. This fish that they discovered, well, it's not discovered, but this fish, this rare fish in the world. I'm gonna tell y'all about this fish. Remember, I've been making videos about the doomsday fish, the oarfish that tend to always wash up before a major earthquake hit. And remember, a couple of videos back, I told y'all that three oarfish, also known as doomsday fish, washed up in California in November. And they keep talking about, oh, that's just a Japanese myth, and it's just a coincidence. Every time those doomsday fish wash up, on the surface. They're usually dead, but those fish live so deep down in the sea or the ocean, but they float up because there's some type of seismic shift that's going on that causes those fish to float up to shallow waters, and people discover them. But that's they can say Japanese myth all they want, but it never fails. Every time those fish float up and they are found, usually an earthquake hits, and that's the same thing that happened this time around. Three fish, doomsday fish, washed up in California in November, and then now they have this 7.0 earthquake. But they had another one. They had like a 5.0 something earthquake too before that one, like 2, 3 weeks ago. But anyway, they can call that a myth or old wives' tale or Japanese myth all they want, but it never fails that when those fish surface, a natural disaster always happens, usually an earthquake, a hurricane, or a typhoon. But there is a story that came out like 3, 4 days ago about a pupfish. And this fish, where, hold on, this fish, I never heard of it because they said this is one of the most rarest fish or rarest creatures in the world. And these fish, it's only like, they said, what, 200 of them or something? And they live in a place called Devil's Hole in Death Valley. And it says 7.0 earthquake in California may have killed endangered fish 500 miles away. That's how powerful that earthquake was. It says the endangered pupfish in Death Valley National Park had their world rocked Thursday when the magnitude 7.0 earthquake that struck off of Northern California coast sent tremors through their delicate habitat 500 miles away. Known as the Devil's Hole pupfish, the animals live in a deep water-filled cave that lends the fish their name. They call it the Devil's Hole. The National Park Service said that this cave is the only place in the world where Devil's Hole pupfish live, and there's a total of just over 200. So this is an endangered species. And they're saying on Thursday the water inside Devil's Hole started sloshing, with waves rising nearly 2 feet high. Officials said this happened a couple of minutes after the major earthquake struck about 40 miles off the Northern California coast. The waves disrupted the shallow shelf inside the Devil's Hole, the pupfish's spawning area, knocking most of the organic matter from the shelf into the 500-foot deep cavern, the NPS said. Officials noted that this can have both negative and positive impacts on the pupfish. In the short term, this is bad for the pupfish, said NPS biologist Dr. Kevin Wilson. A lot of pupfish food just sank deeper into the cave, most likely too deep for the fish to get to it. There were likely pupfish eggs on the shelf that were destroyed, but in the long term, this type of reset is good for the pupfish. It cleaned off any decaying organic matter that could otherwise cause pockets of low oxygen. Whatever, whatever, whatever. So, anyway, yeah, this earthquake affected these rare fish that are called Devil's Hole pupfish because they live in these deep waters in Death Valley called the Devil's Hole. And it's only like a little over 200 of these fish in existence. This is the only place in the world that these fish live. And that earthquake that took place 500 miles away in California shifted the earth, shook the earth so bad that affected these, it shook the Devil's Hole pupfish. I'm like, what does that mean? That is weird. But this was a powerful earthquake that California experienced prior to those three oarfish washing up in November in California. And then afterwards, it affected these little pupfish in the Devil's Hole. That has a meaning. Something is going on. It has a meaning. I don't know what it is right now, but there is something going on with that. Most definitely. But y'all, okay, I'm gonna cut this short because I don't mean to sound too. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but believe me, when these things happen, it's always something behind it. It's usually it's something going on, and I don't know if it was a seismic shift of some type that affected these fish, but usually God is trying to say something, and I just don't know what it is right now, but it's just weird. It's just too much of a coincidence. Oh, and you know what? I forgot about that. Damascus. Everything that's going on in Damascus right now. Damascus is about this close. They're probably within hours away of destroying Damascus and overthrowing the Assad regime that has ruled over Syria. And they ran Damascus. I mean, they ran Syria, the entire country of Syria, from Damascus. And so the Syrian rebels they're probably about hours away from taking over Damascus. They already took over Aleppo and Hama, the city of Hama. I think that's what it's called. They've taken over like three or four of the largest cities, the second largest cities in Syria. And now they're fast approaching the capital, Damascus. And, this is just, a lot of people are not paying attention. Y'all watching football and Housewives of Atlanta and whatever y'all watch on TV and, going on like the Bible said, y'all carrying on like the people were doing as in the days of Noah. And y'all are not paying attention to these things. But prophecy is about to be fulfilled. Um, Isaiah AH, Damascus. I said the other day, remember back when Hurricane Helene happened and it destroyed a little town called Damascus in North Carolina, I believe. And I talked about that in the video during the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, how it destroyed a little city, a little town in Damascus. And I said, this must be a harbinger of something that's about to happen. I kid y'all not. I put that on my Facebook page, I believe. I posted that news clip about the destruction of that little town from the flood in Damascus. I mean, not the flood, but the Hurricane Helene. And I said, this has got to be a harbinger. And that had to be, what, 2 months ago, whenever that was, that Helene hit down south and on the East Coast, the southeast part of the country. I said that was a harbinger. And now, with the book of Isaiah, this prophecy is about to become fulfilled. There's a prophecy against Damascus. It's Isaiah 17. It says, see, Damascus will no longer be a city, but become a heap of ruins. The cities of Aroer will be deserted and left to flocks which will lie down with no one to make them afraid. The fortified city will disappear from Ephraim and royal power from Damascus. The remnant of Aram will be like the glory of the Israelites, declares the Lord Almighty. That's Isaiah 17. This prophecy is about to be fulfilled because Damascus is the Assad regime has been overthrown. They said he's left Syria. They said they don't think he's even in the country anymore. They think he's fled the country with his family, and Damascus is about to be overthrown by the Syrian rebels in a matter of hours because they are fast approaching the capital city and they're going to destroy it. They've overthrown the government. So this prophecy is being fulfilled right now as we speak. But I said it was a harbinger from the destruction of the Damascus in North Carolina during Hurricane Helene. And then this happened. See, God always lets something else happen, take place as a sign before something major happens. And that's why I said with this, like with the oarfish, the doomsday fish, oarfish, and now this earthquake shook those devil's hole pupfish. Something is about to go down, and I don't know what it is. I don't know. I can't explain everything. I don't have the answers to everything, but just know that I believe something is about to go down. So, y'all, the Bible says keep watch, stay vigilant, stay woke, keep watch. Um, but I'm going to go ahead and end this and upload this. It's the weekend. I hope you guys stay safe, be safe. And until then, like I said, if you haven't been baptized, blood washed, and born again in the name of Jesus Christ, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, then please do so now because the time is drawing near. Um, and if you got relatives, you got loved ones, friends, family, co-workers, neighbors, pray for their salvation that they get saved as well because we are fast approaching the 7-year tribulation that is going to affect the entire world. And we want as many people to be raptured in the church before that happens. We don't want anyone to have to suffer through the tribulation that is about to affect the entire world because it will be the worst time to be alive in human history. And this is per the Bible. So that's the thing, y'all. Just pray for yourself, pray for your loved ones, pray for me, pray for my loved ones, and I'll do the same for you and your loved ones. That, God, just he's run out of patience. And I just think that it's the birth pains are getting worse. And see, the tribulation is going to mark the time where the woman the it's about to get worse, and during the 7-year tribulation, and then there's going to be the great tribulation that happens 3.5 years after the beginning of the tribulation, and it's going to be the midpoint of the tribulation where the time of Jacob's trouble is going to happen and the great tribulation is going to happen, and that's going to be right before the deliverance, and the deliverance will be the return of Jesus Christ. God is about to deliver him, his son, back to this earth. And also, it will be the deliverance of a lot of the tribulation saints who were once lost, did not believe, and a lot of the Jewish people. You know, it's going to be a time of deliverance for them as well. So we are fast approaching that 7-year tribulation period, y'all. And we just want as many people as we can to get saved so that we don't have to live through that. But it is about to happen. And if you don't believe me, just go look at Isaiah 17 and look at the prophecy about Damascus. It says what the fortified city will disappear from Ephraim and royal power from Damascus. That's happening right now. That Assad regime that had been a dictatorship that had oppressed the people in Syria has been overthrown, and the city of Damascus is about to be a heap of ruins in a matter of hours. They're about to invade Damascus right now. If you don't believe me, read the news stories for yourself. Um, that prophecy is about to be fulfilled right now. So, only thing we can do is keep telling you and just, keep sounding the alarm, and letting people know the time is getting near. So, all right, everybody, I'm going to stop right here and I will probably upload the sixth video in the End Times Explained series. It will be video number 6, and this will be a discussion of heaven and hell. So I will be uploading those videos, if not later on tonight, then tomorrow sometime. So please be safe and be blessed. And I'm out. All right, y'all. But like I said, look in the look up the story about the pupfish. Just Google on your phone, on your computer, Devil's Hole pupfish and earthquake, and the story should come up. And then if you want to know about the doomsday fish, the oarfish, and how they only seem to surface during a natural disaster such as an earthquake or a typhoon or a tsunami, look that up as well. But then also what's going on in Damascus. Look and just see what's happening in Damascus, and then go back and look up Isaiah 17 in the Bible. And you'll be able to confirm all of these things that I'm saying, because I'm not just saying this. I always like to provide the news stories. I'll take you straight to the scripture to be able to support my statements. But you go see for yourself. Don't take my word for it. You got to pray to God for the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding for yourself. And then you go seek out the information and find it, because He keeps no thing hidden from you. So, with that said, I'm out, y'all. And like I said, be safe, be blessed. Peace. Okay, stop.
Breaking news in the brazen murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. New York City Mayor Eric Adams initially saying today authorities know who the suspect is. He's now walking back that statement. Police and the FBI offering a $60,000 reward to anyone with information that leads to the killer's capture. And then this, a backpack that some say may have belonged to the suspect. Found in Central Park, it's undergoing forensic testing. Moments after the shooting, the suspect was spotted riding an e-bike into Central Park. Police have surveillance footage of the suspect getting into a cab on 86th Street and Amsterdam Avenue on the Upper West Side before making it to a Port Authority bus center, the bus terminal, leading police to believe he may have left New York City. News Nation's Nancy Liu is live right now. Nancy, what do we know about that backpack police found in Central Park? I was just on X and somebody posted that, the difference in color is something that nobody's mentioning, that one looks blue and the other looks perhaps gray.
And that may be because that different surveillance cameras take different images. I mean, even our cameraman here can have different settings on his camera. And it's interesting that somebody said, I like your pink coat, and this is rather orange. So that may explain the discrepancies in the color of that backpack. But police sounding pretty confident that that is a key piece of evidence that has been located. That was late yesterday in Central Park. You can see it was sitting among some leaves under some shrubs, but it was out in the open. So is this a case of the killer wanting to police to find that backpack, to see what's inside, and perhaps, lead them astray and spend resources investigating that while he makes his way? But as you've indicated, Mayor Adams earlier today made comments indicating that police may know the identity of this killer. They have since walked that comment back. But take a listen. It certainly sounds to be the case. Listen up.
We don't want to release that now. If you do, you're basically giving a tip to the person we're seeking, and we do not want to give him an upper hand at all. Let him continue to believe he can hide behind the mask. We're going to, just as we revealed his face, we're going to reveal who he is, and we're going to bring him to justice.
So again, this may be a case of law enforcement having that identity, but not wanting the public or the killer to know that they know the identity. Now, apart from that backpack, which was a major find, police not revealing exactly what was inside. Reportedly, according to the New York Post, they're citing sources saying that the hoodie, the jacket that you see there, was inside the backpack. But the big question is, where is the murder weapon? We know that police were back in Central Park today. They're searching bodies of water, perhaps looking for that murder weapon. No word yet on if anything was found. And again, they're not saying what was inside that backpack. But police have been pouring through all kinds of tips that have been coming in since they released those surveillance images of the killer with the mask pulled down, with the smile as he flirted with a clerk at a hostel on the Upper West Side. But a $60,000 reward, perhaps that is playing into, all these tips coming in and the indications that they do know who this person is. And Adrian, I have to comment, I mentioned this earlier, but this very much reminds me of the investigation at the University of Idaho when the students were killed. I think this is nearly 2 years ago. Police keeping details of that investigation very close to the vest. They knew who they were searching for. And we didn't hear the name Bryan Kohberger until they had him in custody. But they knew that name early on in the investigation. And we didn't hear that name until he was taken into custody at the end of December. I think it was like 6 weeks after the murder, perhaps even 2 months. In late December was when he was arrested, and the murders happened in early November.
Yeah,
Adrian.
You make a good point, and I think that there's so much curiosity, so many online sleuths who want to solve the crime themselves, just like we saw with the Kohberger case, the Gabby Petito case. But if withholding information, including the suspect's name, helps investigators, I think we all collectively should say, do whatever's best for the investigation, and leave the investigating to those professionals. News Nation's Nancy Liu, thank you as always. Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.
Shooting happened at Feather River Adventist School on Wednesday. Investigators say the shooter had a link to Southern California.
He was released from jail in San Bernardino County less than 2 weeks before the shooting. Inland Empire Bureau Chief Rob McMillan has those details.
Medical with criminal violence, stage well out of the area. Shots fired.
2 days after a horrific school shooting in Northern California, we're learning more about the suspected shooter, 56-year-old Glenn Litton, and the fact that he was in jail here in San Bernardino County, but was released less than 2 weeks before the shooting.
This individual did have some significant mental health issues.
And law enforcement officials say he had a lengthy rap sheet going back to the 1980s.
Several other convictions for various crimes to include theft, fraud, forgery in the 90s and early 2000s.
In 2003, he was convicted on charges related to fraud and identity theft, sentenced to 8 years in state prison. But it was a search of his residence that raised concerns for law enforcement, specifically some of the things he was apparently searching for on his computer.
Looking for guns, looking for explosives. Notes in the computer to himself were fairly significant in terms of planning of some sort of mass incident involving explosives.
Then, in April of 2020, he came to Redlands, where police say he wrote a fraudulent check to himself in the amount of $3,850, cashing that check at California Check Cashing on Redlands Boulevard. But it would be more than 4 years before he was arrested, appearing in San Bernardino for his arraignment just over 2 weeks ago.
He pled not guilty and was released by the court on his own recognizance.
When deputies responded to the shooting at Feather River Adventist School in Oroville on Wednesday, Litton was found dead from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot, but not before he shot 2 kindergartners, both currently in critical condition.
It's very likely that they are going to have a number of surgeries, but the fact that they are currently still with us, I think, is a miracle and something that we should all be very thankful for.
Rob McMillan, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC7 content by clicking the subscribe button for our YouTube channel and download the ABC7 Los Angeles streaming app on Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV, and Roku to watch on your TV.
Be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength, my Redeemer. Let them go in peace.
Everybody begin to pray. Come on, stretch your hands this way. Father, in the name of Jesus, we speak life over the man of God right now. Devil, you are a liar. We plead the blood of Jesus. Come on, church, pray. Come on, every voice.
Saúde, saúde. Saúde, saúde. Sobre o teu servo agora. Agora. Agora.
Right now. Right now. Life right now.
Agora, agora.
Right now.
Poder,
in the name
poder,
of Jesus.
Poder, poder sobre o teu servo, Senhor.
Pray, saints.
Dallas megachurch pastor T.D. Jakes says he needed emergency surgery after he fell ill during his sermon last weekend. Good evening, I'm Blake Hansen. For the first time since that health scare, Jakes spoke at length about what happened, talking remotely with his congregation today. He described what happened as a miracle. Fox 4's Amelia Jones joining us live with that update. Amelia?
Blake, Bishop T.D. Jakes didn't say exactly what caused the medical emergency last week, just that he was taken to the ICU and underwent surgery. He told the Potter's House congregation this morning that doctors want him to take it easy, but that he's in good spirits and in no pain.
I told you last Sunday that I'd see you this Sunday.
In his own words.
And so here I am.
Bishop T.D. Jakes shared what happened last week after he suffered a health incident on stage.
Many of you don't realize that you're looking at a miracle. I faced a life-threatening calamity, was rushed to the ICU unit, had emergency surgery, survived this surgery.
Last Sunday, as Jakes was wrapping up his sermon, the live stream of the service captured Jakes lowering his microphone and shaking on stage. We're not showing the incident, but people immediately surrounded him on stage.
I looked around and everybody was around me. I was annoyed because I didn't know why they were around me.
Jakes didn't share what doctors believe caused the incident. He just said that doctors advised him to take it easy for the next few weeks.
Sometimes those of us who are busy taking care of other people neglect ourselves, and that's very true.
Jakes founded the Potter's House in 1996. The non-denominational church has grown to 30,000 members, with many tuning in every week online. After the incident, there was an outpouring of love and support across the country for the renowned Christian leader.
I can feel your support and your love, and it was obvious Sunday that you went through it with me.
Which is why he wanted to address the Potter's House congregation on Sunday, to let everyone know he's on the mend.
I need you to help me to praise God that we're not planning a funeral. I need you to help me to praise God that we are here celebrating.
And he's grateful for the continuous prayers for a full recovery.
But I'm in good spirits. I feel good. I'm in no pain. I'm in peace and tranquility. And I want you to know that I can feel your prayers.
Jakes didn't share a time frame for when he would return to preaching in person. After he spoke this morning, his daughter led the congregation in a prayer for her father's recovery. Blake, back to you.
All right, Amelia, thanks.
And President-elect Donald Trump took his first overseas trip after being elected last month. He headed to Paris for the reopening of Notre Dame Cathedral, meeting with a couple of world leaders. CBS News correspondent Wendy Gillette reports from New York on the day's events.
There was much fanfare as President-elect Donald Trump arrived in Paris for the reopening of Notre Dame Cathedral after a devastating fire in April 2019. Trump and French President Emmanuel Macron hugged and shook hands, what appeared to be a warm reunion.
It's an honor to be here. We had a good time together, and we had a lot of success, really great success working together on defense and offense too. And it certainly seems like the world is going a little crazy right now. Yeah.
The cathedral's bells rang for the first time in 5 years. First responders were also recognized for their efforts to extinguish the fire. The reopening drew leaders from around the world, including Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. He met with Trump and Macron before the ceremony, saying on social media it was good and productive, and that they resolved to keep working together to end Russia's war with Ukraine. Trump also sat down with Prince William. The cathedral will reopen to the public Sunday.
Now, President Biden was invited to attend the event but declined. First Lady Jill Biden was there instead. Pope Francis also decided not to attend.
And staying in the United States, billionaire duo Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, who have been tasked with leading Donald Trump's Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, visited Capitol Hill on Thursday. Musk and Ramaswamy arrived to meet with Republican lawmakers in both chambers of Congress and find ways to cut unnecessary federal expenses. House Speaker Mike Johnson said Thursday's huddle was a brainstorming session to lay the groundwork for next year.
I know you're all excited that Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy have joined us today. This is an important day. It's the beginning of a journey. You've heard what DOGE is all about, the Department of Government Efficiency. It's a new thing, and this is a new day in Washington and a new day in America. We have long lamented the size and scope of the government, that it has grown too large. And let me be frank about this. Government is too big, it does too many things, and it does almost nothing well. And the taxpayers deserve better. They deserve a more responsive government, a more efficient government, one that is leaner and more focused on its primary objectives.
Both Musk and Ramaswamy delivered roughly a minute of remarks each, but disclosed little to nothing about how they plan to in fact slash federal waste. So far, the duo plan to impose a 5-day work week that would result in voluntary terminations, shift some federal departments outside Washington, and axe some government agencies.
Will there be changes made to defense spending? Will there be changes made to entitlement programs like Medicare and Social Security, which are the biggest drivers of government spending at this stage? Those reducing cost of those programs are something that could be very detrimental to lawmakers in the 2026 elections. And so we'll see how politically popular some of the recommendations are as members of the House run again in 2026, and as many senators will be up for re-election as well.
Meanwhile, Musk's 4-year-old son stole the spotlight as he sat atop his father's shoulders while striding through the Capitol. Now, Musk and Ramaswamy have been appointed to head the department, which is not a federal agency and will work from outside the government. They will be issuing recommendations to overhaul bureaucracy and the federal budget with a self-imposed deadline of July 6, 2026. While Republicans love this idea, it's no secret that previous presidents and Congress under both parties have repeatedly failed to deliver on this goal. Reports say once DOGE is established, Ramaswamy and Musk will have a small staff of about 10 to 12 who will work closely with the Office of Budget and Management. Now, the Tesla CEO, with the backing of Donald Trump, has set a target of $2 trillion in savings without mentioning whether it would come in a single year or over a long period. In the most recent fiscal year, the United States government spent $6.8 trillion.
Welcome to Devil's Hole, Nevada, home to one of the world's most endangered species, the Devil's Hole pupfish. Hidden in a remote desert oasis, this tiny fish has captured the attention of scientists and conservationists around the globe. Imagine a species so rare, it exists solely in a single pool of water. The Devil's Hole pupfish has survived for thousands of years in this unique environment, adapting to extreme conditions that would challenge even the most resilient creatures. But now, its very existence hangs by a thread. Join us as we dive into the depths of Devil's Hole. Listen to leading experts as they unravel the mysteries of this enigmatic fish. Visualize the arid landscape and the precarious habitat of the pupfish through detailed maps and animated sequences. This isolated ecosystem faces numerous challenges. Climate change, water level fluctuations, and human interference all pose significant threats. Yet, hope remains. Conservationists are working tirelessly to protect and preserve this extraordinary species. From innovative breeding programs to habitat restoration efforts, the commitment is unwavering. As we conclude, remember that the fate of the Devil's Hole pupfish is a reflection of our planet's health. By safeguarding this tiny fish, we contribute to the broader narrative of biodiversity conservation. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Subscribe to our channel for more stories about nature's wonders and the ongoing efforts to preserve them.
هاي الدوام اللي صاروا بقصر الجمهوري.
بس اطلع مو
كانه فجر حاله او شيء.
رئيس مجلس الوزراء السابق مع جماعة الفيلق الخامس من أهالي حوران متوجها إلى فندق الفور سيزن للاجتماع وتسليم مؤسسات الدولة
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. إدارة العمليات العسكرية.
This white pole behind me that's connected to this garage is right in the area where that sinkhole, which was about the size of a manhole, opened up where Elizabeth Pollard fell into the ground and into an abandoned mine. This whole area had to be dug up by crews so they could reach her body.
Today was a blessing from God.
That's how crews are feeling today after finding the body of Elizabeth Pollard after searching for more than 80 hours over the span of more than 3 days. Crews said they were starting to feel deflated and were concerned a reunion for the family and Pollard wasn't going to happen.
I couldn't have been more happy for the family that we were able to find her, because that was the only thing that they were concerned with.
Pollard was found 30 feet below the ground, 12 feet away from the area where the initial sinkhole opened beneath her feet while she was searching for her cat.
When she fell through the shaft and she landed and struck that mound of, like we'll call it like Hershey Kiss, it appears that she rolled or moved that 12 feet or so where our initial spot was.
Troopers say crews with Ligonier Contracting dug more than 4 times the area around the initial sinkhole to find Pollard after the plan to have rescuers going down into the mine had to change. They also weren't able to send anyone down into the mine today to recover Pollard's body.
We used machinery instead of sending folks down into the hole and into the mine structure itself, because as we were still working, today we still had collapse of the mine roof and mine sides.
Now the work starts on filling this hole back up and making sure the mine is shored up and secure.
For lack of better terms, it's almost like the pumping of what appears to be concrete into the mines. They call it a grouting of some sort. They're talking about doing it in the very near future.
The coroner is performing an autopsy to determine how Pollard died. Reporting in Unity Township, Andrew Havranek, Channel 11 News.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
The family of G. Vijayalakshmi, the victim of a sinkhole collapse incident on Jalan Masjid, India, conducted a final religious ceremony at the site on Sunday before returning to India. Astro Awani reported that Vijayalakshmi's husband, son and sister performed the Hindu rituals by lighting oil lamps and ringing bells. They were seen taking a clump of soil, which they placed in a plastic bag, presumably to take back to India. It is understood that the family would depart for India at 5 p.m. Some passers-by were also seen performing prayers at the site, which has been cordoned off. The 48-year-old victim, from Kupam in Andhra Pradesh, India, went missing after falling into the 8-metre-deep sinkhole on August 23rd. Despite various efforts, including the use of scuba units and sniffer dogs, the search team failed to locate her. The government decided to call off the search operation on Saturday after considering safety issues involving the rescuers and the public, and the continuity of businesses in the area.